about. We're just going with it.
We're just going to go with it. We're roll with the punches.
We're just going with it. We're rolling. We're live from the 2020 NWTF convention. I did one of these earlier with Aaron and Greg from the Hunting Public, and then for the second one, I decided to move into a quieter room because you could hear people talking and people announcing stuff the whole time.
There's a lot of turkey yelping going on around here.
Yeah. So Jordan is here, and then our friend Dave Owens is here.
Howdy, howdy.
So this is what I want out of this podcast at least for the first part. I've been wanting to do this ever since last May.
Why am I scared now?
You shouldn't be scared. This is gonna be a good time. I want to rehash. I'm talking, but from like everything, because it's fitting too. Because that your YouTube video with
just hit
with the Three Musketeers came out today, February the 13th.
Yep. And it was not planned like that. It's just that I started putting out videos every Monday and Thursday from January 20th so that they would end everything I had left right before the 2020 season started. So I said, well, man, that works out.
Yeah.
I'm going to get over at Primo's, but get me a selfie. Get some views on this video.
Yeah. So I feel like everyone that listens to this podcast, we got a big turkey hunter base, so everyone pretty much knows you and the Pinhoti Project. But if you don't, that's what Dave does. That's what the YouTube video we're referring to.
YouTube series just about a turkey hunter.
It's about a turkey hunter that turkey hunts probably a little bit too much.
Kind of live, he calls it.
Yeah, that last year's was kind of live because the first one was we recorded the whole season, and then in June I started editing, and it all came out after the season. And while that was good and people enjoyed it, they enjoyed it a lot more if it happens real time. So I kind of. Well,
that's the way today's society works.
Yeah, they like it. They like it now.
Yep.
So the kind of live, it just kind of fit. And I was like, I don't know. I said, I don't know what I'm gonna call it. I don't want to call it Pinhoti whatever. And I said, well, I'm gonna call it the Pinhoti kind of live because it's kind of live.
Yeah. For the most part, all them hunts happened within the same month you released them.
Yeah.
Exactly. And except these, I said these I need to guess. I guess I need to call them the kind of late series.
Kind of late.
But anyway, like I just kept it on the same playlist.
The Jump Start series.
Mm-hmm.
So
get you ready.
I want to talk about some other things, but I want to talk about that hunt because just the way everything unfolded, just pretty comical, or I thought it was.
Yeah. It was comical just how it all ended up working out. We hunted together.
Yeah. That's something because it was about as unplanned can get.
Because like you said when we walked in here, we met. And I don't know if it was this room.
It was one of these rooms.
One of these same podcast rooms. I come in here to do a podcast with some other guys, and y'all was in here.
Recording.
Yep.
And we were like, who's this guy interrupting our recording session? This guy, who's he think he is?
Oh, man. Yep.
So I know we wound up, we were turkey hunting in Minnesota, and we'd had some luck, but then like just bad weather moved in big time.
I wasn't even supposed to be there at all.
No, he wasn't. So
you had a fresh baby.
Jordan's wife had a baby on May the 1st. Jordan's first daughter.
Inconvenient.
And Jordan is turkey hunting 2 weeks later.
I couldn't stand it.
That's a good woman.
Could not stand it. Like 2 or 3 days after Brindley came, Lake and they were in Kansas and Nebraska just pounding on them, and I'm like, it can't be over.
So we're in Minnesota, have some success, but then like bad weather, and Jordan's like, hey, let's go to Wisconsin, let's just try it, let's try our luck, and I'm like, I'm down with that, we can do that. So we end up in Wisconsin, and somehow or another, if you remember this part better, like we were in some fast food burger joint.
Yeah,
and Jordan's
I don't even remember the name of that town. It's a hole in a wall.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Jordan's on his cell phone, and he's like, I can just tell them wheels are turning.
I'm scouting.
And I'm like, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I think just hang on,
an idea.
I'm working on something. And you tell him what you were doing.
I think I was messaging you.
Yeah.
I'd kind of narrowed it down where you were, like in the central, within a 40, 50 mile radius, and then I was like, all right, where you at? What can we do to be able to help you, for you to help us find a turkey? Because you're over there killing like one a day for a week.
We were doing pretty good, yeah. We
Yeah.
were doing pretty good.
That's crazy that Wisconsin's like that, the $15 turkey tag thing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Does that happen every year up there?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've got
They've got
leftover
certain
tags.
zones, and they've got an X number of tags still a lot for the zone, and then some zones just never sell out. So they've got like 1,000 extra tags.
Yeah,
because
I was looking, several of the zones on the other side of the state been like
they
none are
sell
left
out.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got some of those bigger zones that have plenty of tags, and as long as they still got them available, you can buy one a day.
That's a very unknown little deal there.
It's been a secret. I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gonna be.
out.
Maybe we shouldn't be talking about it, but I mean, there's
it's out. He's
yeah.
done let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, it's true. Whoopsie.
Whoops.
Because I have a friend that's from Wisconsin. He used to talk about turkey season. He would shoot one turkey and he was done. That's all he could do. And and I guess it's just the zone he was in.
Yeah, maybe so.
You know, I don't. But I was like, $15 a tag a day. What? You know,
I was just walking into Walmart every day going, I'll take another one. What
Like
season is this? I'll take one of them.
let me get one.
Not like I could kill that many turkeys, but it would not be fit for me to live up there.
Yes.
Like,
Yep. Mm-hmm. No doubt.
I'd go insane.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of
Because
like
there's no end. Like you could hunt them till.
I would punch $15 turkey tags until I didn't have no more money.
Which I don't.
Whether
Or I would try to.
I would probably only use one because that would be just blind luck. I'd kill one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I said that like I would just be stacking them, but I would try to. You know what I mean? I didn't kill as many as I
I'm
could.
so motivated when
Yeah.
you can get a tag for 50. It only cost me $15.
$15.
Might as well go again.
Yeah. Run it back.
Yep.
Run it back. So next thing you know, Jordan's like, we're going to meet Dave in the parking lot of Walmart. We're going turkey hunting. I'm like, huh? All right. Let's see how this works. I mean, the only time we had ever been around you was that brief time at NW at here, this convention, year before. Like, all right. We're desperate for turkeys, and he seems to be on them. If he wants to help, then there we are.
We had hunted a couple days there on the public land in Wisconsin. And we got on turkeys. They were
every time we got on turkeys, we were not the only person that was on those
David
turkeys.
already
That
yelped
could be
at
a
them.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, remember one time we got on one, or we heard one, and we were trying to move around on him, and then we were like, oh, okay, someone's on
turkey
him too.
hunting is
Yeah.
not a team sport. So.
Yeah. Surround them and close in.
Yeah.
But anyhow, next thing you know, there we are posted up at the Walmart parking lot, and in comes Dave.
Mm-hmm.
In our billboard truck.
In our billboard truck. That's changed also.
Yeah,
we don't have the billboard trucks anymore.
Okay.
A little bit more incognito.
Yeah.
I tell you how, like that truck we had with the wrap was good for advertisement.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're trying to hunt public land, everybody knows you don't want to be seen or nobody knows where you are. I got on Facebook. We were riding down. We wasn't even parked.
Mm-hmm.
We was just nearby.
Yeah.
Riding down the road through a public place up there. I get on Facebook on a Mississippi turkey hunters deal, and there's a picture of our truck.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Primo's in Wisconsin. Oh, God.
Wonder if they're
I'm
hunting.
going to start renting a vehicle.
Yeah, they said
we're going to drive 14 hours to go to Enterprise and rent another vehicle.
They said something like they named off the public ground. They were like, I wonder if they're hunting such and such, and they listed the name. We were like, crap, we weren't even parked.
Yeah.
We were just near it, you know?
Just giving it a look.
Yeah, golly.
But, yeah, we ended up with you.
Part of the game that we play.
First thing you said is, y'all got to get in my truck.
Yeah. Y'all leaving that thing right here.
We ain't taking that. Which I don't blame him. We kind of figured that would happen. We're like, he ain't going to let us drive this. Which we didn't want to, you know. I mean, the original plan was not, like when we left on that trip to Minnesota, like ended up hunting Wisconsin public land was not in the chips.
Okay, yeah.
But then, so we were like, because, you know, if we knew we were going to end up on some public ground, we probably would have figured out. We would have legitimately figured out something other than, the big billboard truck. But it is what it is.
It all worked out.
It all worked out.
Yeah.
What was funny was the first stop we made, the first hunt per se.
Because it was late morning when all that by the time y'all got
Big
down
storm
there.
came
It
through
rained
that.
that morning, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Rained bad that night before, and it was a thunderstorm, tornado warning, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So.
I remember we didn't get out of bed till like 8 that morning, and it was so nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you didn't. Because it was raining.
Yeah.
But we get there, and we get this spot, and me and Jordan are just blindly following Dave. Like, you know, we don't know where we're going. We're just like, follow that guy.
Yeah.
And I remember we hadn't even like. Do I remember this right? Like, no one had struck a call or anything. We were just kind of dropping down in that bottom, and one. We're like, oh, okay. You know, this could work.
Yeah.
We got amongst them.
We got in amongst them.
Yep, we got in amongst them.
I was thinking in the back of my head, God, leave this son of a gun. I found what do I deserve to hear a turkey?
Yeah.
Man, we got in amongst them turkeys, and I can't. Golly, it's just one of them spots. It's just a tricky setup. Like there was no perfect setup. I don't think.
And we talk about this all the time, but when you're trying to video hunt and trying to get footage of the turkey coming in and doing his thing, so you can tell that part of the story. Mm-hmm. It's a whole different ballgame.
You don't need much, but turkeys don't let you have much. You know, to get that 3, 4, 5 seconds of footage before the gun goes off, that can be asking a lot. When you're hunting terrain that rolls like that does,
that's what we're saying. You got to remember, even when we're making these videos or trying to, they're still wild critters. I mean, you can hope that they're gonna act right, but
don't none of them volunteer to die. At least I ain't found one yet.
Yeah. So anyhow, the setup that we ended up in was not the best as far.
It was on the side of a sheer ground shaking.
Yeah. Like I mean, it was a steep incline.
Like my knees were above my head.
Yeah. I had one knee, like I was sitting on one knee, and my other leg stuck down, kind of like extended. And like full extended, trying to just keep myself holding right there. And at one point, like, it was very uncomfortable, but I was like, turkeys are gobbling, I'll make it work, and the turkeys are closing distance. And
why we got in that predicament was because we took too dang long to figure out where we wanted to sit.
Correct.
Because there wasn't that obvious spot that you needed to be.
I mean, they were gobbling, and then if I remember correctly, all of a sudden, like,
they gobbling was like, ooh,
they were 100 yards closer.
We are late to the show.
We need to do something. Yeah, we got to do something.
Yeah.
But all I can remember, and it's because we watched the video this morning, and I was like, I wonder if he caught this in the video or not. But I'm standing there, I'm sitting on a knee, half other leg standing out there trying to film this turkey hunt, same kind of deal when this is the first time we've ever hunted together.
Yeah.
And it's the same way first time I ever hunt with anybody for the first time. I'm like, all right, just don't screw this thing up, try not to. Don't make yourself look like an idiot. And I'm standing there, turkeys are gobbling. All of a sudden, the ground that is underneath my foot just leaves. And so do I. Boom, I just go.
Lake has vacated the building.
The camera was sitting there, but Lake was nowhere to be found.
I remember.
Things don't run themselves.
I remember because I slipped and I'm laying there like just on the ground. And I look up and Jordan's like looking over at the camera like where did he go? And all of a sudden he looks down at me. I'm like, and I'm looking, and I'm
up there against that log because I had dropped down the ridge to try to pull the turkeys over so they wouldn't be staring at y'all.
Right.
So I kind of went down past y'all a little bit, was trying to get them to look down to me, and I'm over there laid down by a laid over log, and I just hear like leaves, like. I'm like, what is going on over there?
We're scratching.
I look over the top of the log, and I see him trying to claw his way back up to the top. And I said, they got something going on with that camera. I don't know what it is. Because the legs on the tripod, even though they are adjustable, they don't have, like, when the ground is, you're level with the ground on one side, and then it's like 25 feet to the bottom. You ain't got that much leg.
Yeah. And, like, I remember I laid there just long enough, because I just laid there like this, and turkey gobbled again. I go, okay, I ain't spooked him yet. So then I started crawling back up. It still didn't work. And the turkeys finally, like.
Could have killed him.
Oh, yeah, could have killed him.
I had a bead on him.
But it was another one of those. If you were turkey hunting, you'd have killed turkey.
Oh, yeah.
But we were turkey hunting / filming.
And those turkeys walked out into that opening, and they said, what's that big blob down there down the hill? Yeah. That's not supposed to be there.
Yep.
I mean, plenty of time to pull the trigger on one, but you had 2 seconds of footage, and they're gone.
Yeah.
And then you're shooting at a running turkey, and that's a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
Might as well just not even do it.
Yeah. So then,
bobbing and weaving.
Yeah. So as I sit there, the thought that goes through my head is we have been turkey hunting with this guy for a grand total of maybe less than an hour when all this has occurred, and we have managed to spook 2 long-bearded turkeys. He may say, I'll take y'all back to y'all's truck, and y'all on your own. Y'all. And I wouldn't have blamed him. I'm like, yep, our bad. We'll see you.
Bye, Felicia's.
Yeah. So it was funny the way it worked out. What happened after that?
We went over to that piece that I'd done some door knocking because
that's right.
Because a couple days earlier, that the wind was so bad. I spent that day because I went there and I had a lot of pins dropped on places I wanted to hunt. Well, I ended up getting so many turkeys at spot number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like I ended up spending like 4 or 5 days there, and then I thought I need to get to these other places, and I just wandered into those when y'all had called, and I had knocked on a couple doors that like 2 days prior, and I'd actually secured some permission on some places that I had laid my eyes on, like 3 gobblers in one, and I'd hunted it that morning. That morning you called me, and I killed that bird and had one really treat me bad. Like he treated me bad off Rouge, and then I went and found the other one and killed him. So I had that spot in my back pocket, but we went to that public first because I laid my eyes on those birds,
which again should have worked.
And there was 3 longbeards there, and gosh, man, there was a lot of turkeys around that area.
It was impressive. The number of turkeys there were impressive.
Absolutely,
they were.
I don't know if it'll be like that this year, but maybe it was just right time, right place, right time kind of situation.
One of them places, we all talk about it in the Southeast, 2012.
Yeah.
The year of the 2-year-olds. They were freaking everywhere.
Yeah.
Who knows? That may have been that way in Wisconsin last year.
Exactly. But that's another thing, like them turkeys that I was killing. Pile of old turkeys.
Yeah.
Old turkeys.
The one we ended up killing, which we haven't gotten to talking about yet, he wasn't a 2-year-old, was he? Was he? I can't remember.
2 or 3.
I thought I remember him being.
He's a little over an inch spurred.
I thought he remember being long spurred.
Okay.
But who knows?
Yeah.
But I'd killed like a couple in a row there. There was like 24 pounds, 12 ounces, 1.25 spurs, and the one the day before that was 1.5 inch spurs, 23 pounds something.
Big
I don't know about y'all, but I don't kill turkeys like that very often.
Big turkeys.
You know what I'm
those are
saying?
big
And I'm like,
turkeys.
man, these things they're not acting like that. You know what I'm saying? They're acting like young turkeys. And then I called that one up that just came in from forever in the woods. Beautiful hunt. Came in drumming. Took forever to get a shot on him. Just one of those, when you shoot them, you just kind of lay back kind of situations, like such a sigh of relief.
The
Battle's
over.
Exactly. And then that joker ended up having big old hooked 1.25 spurs. I'm like, man, these are old turkeys. Like, man, these turkeys ain't. They need to be hunted more. Y'all need to thin this
y'all
population.
Y'all got to sane some of this out.
Yes, y'all got to thin this population of these old. You can't get too many old turkeys in the same place.
Yeah, y'all gonna have a problem in a few years. If y'all don't fix this.
So
y'all need to cut it down to $5 tags.
But we went over and kicked our feet on that place, and that's when we walked up on the turkey that was squatted, and I don't know what his deal was.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I just walked up, and I was like, man, that should be it. I fooled with a old codger of a turkey right here, yesterday morning, and he should be here, and we went sneaking out through there and couldn't strike him, and then walked up either on him or on another one that was squatted in the grass.
In the grass.
That was one of the weirdest things you don't see that often.
And I think now it's, once you think about stuff after it's happened and how it played out, and like, okay, that's starting to make a little more sense. I think the turkey that I was on that day that acted so funny and gobbled like crazy but wouldn't react as well as you would think he was for him to be gobbled. I think he was a subordinate bird, and he basically ran across that field, already had his destination in mind, and then that day it was probably the same bird. He just didn't want to strike to a call, more squatty, because obviously the bird that you killed was the strutter, and I hadn't seen that bird yet because he had a defining characteristic, and we hadn't seen that bird. So I'm thinking subordinate bird was hanging out in the field, and Big Daddy was there. He knew he was close,
Yeah, and he had a bunch of hens with him, and he was the stud.
And he acted. So that's why I think that bird was like consistently acting a little bit quirky for some reason. A lot of people say that's old turkey. Like he act like that's old turkey. I find that it's usually a whooped turkey.
A scared turkey.
Yeah, exactly.
I was same way with like Jake. Sometimes they have full gobbles. They just be hammering and get out there 100 yards where you can't see them, but they just stay there.
Yeah. They know their line.
It's a bad joker.
That's an old turkey.
And then he'll go quiet for like 45 minutes, and you won't hear anything, and all of a sudden you'll see his head. Or you'll be like, oh, I spooked him. And then you see that beard about 2 inches long sticking out of his chest.
I've worked some turkeys so hard to call them jokers up and then be gobbling jakes. And I'm thinking, that's why you acted weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why nothing adds up. But now it all makes sense.
And then I say, well, you shouldn't have gobbled, and I shoot him. Just
act like a man, get treated like a man.
That's the way elk hunting works for us, too.
So I'm trying to – so that happened. Then we went to Culver's, got some custard because that's what seemed like the right thing to do.
Yep.
Went back there that afternoon. Then we roosted a turkey.
We spooked some more that afternoon too. If I remember right.
Did we?
I don't.
Did we spook more turkeys?
I just remember us hearing a bunch of hens cackling. We couldn't get
we heard
nothing
them
to
flying up.
Yeah.
Y'all about gave me a heart attack.
And we had
running me through the bottom.
Oh, we did see some turkeys that evening.
There was that one strutting in the cornfield. We tried to loop around on it.
Yep, that's right. We tried to loop around on them.
When we pulled in, they were like 100 yards from the truck.
That's right.
We did a big.
That's the one we ended up killing.
And I remember
a big gauntlet around the mountain.
I remember I just peeked up under a limb and I could see him shining in the setting. His sun was starting to set and he was glowing out there. I was like, oh, look at that turkey. And then we tried to loop him, and that was a quick move. A lot of ground
we
covered in
exerted
short time.
A lot of energy.
We did.
Yeah.
I don't have that much to exert.
That was a demanding trot right there. Through some pretty rugged. I mean, that's pretty vertical stuff right there. And we went down, and I thought, "Ooh, I know that means we got to go up."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then then we tried to get one to gobble at roost, couldn't, but we heard them hens cackling or they were something.
Yeah, they were flying up and cackling. A couple cackled.
Yeah.
And then I can't say we roosted a turkey anymore because I watched Dave's YouTube video on roosting a turkey, and unless you know exactly the limb that turkey sits on, he's not roosted. That's right, right?
That's right. That's the way I call it.
That's you got it.
If I can't crawl within shotgun range of him on the limb, then I say I know his general vicinity.
I know where he's kind of at.
I've only roosted like 2 turkeys in my life, man, because me crawling don't work too good in the dark.
Yeah. So we did not have a turkey roosted. We thought we may know where one was close to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He didn't gobble, so it was real hard to roost him.
So made a plan. Decided we was going to try that the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then you remember we saw that turkey the next morning. He finally pitched out into that field.
I don't think that was that turkey.
No.
That was a completely different turkey because he was still there when I left.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
But we still don't know what spooked that joker.
That's what I was.
Cat.
He was acting weird.
Oh, a house cat.
A house cat.
Yeah.
Because I remember he was sitting there, he was strutting, and then all of a sudden he piked that head up and took out. We were like, what in the world?
Yeah, I mean, that looked like it was finna work so good.
Yeah.
You know,
because he flew down with like 4 or 5 hens, and we watched them jokers single file walk off, and I said, when them hens leave him, he's going to be a different bird.
And you started talking to him, and he started getting excited.
Yeah. And he started gobbling about 4 or 5 times in a row there. We said, all right, the game has changed.
Yeah, and he started kind of easing. You know, I remember one time he was strutting, and you yelped, and he just kind of turned and faced us. We were like, ooh.
Yeah. We see you.
And then that head just jerked up, and he went running. We were like, what in the, who?
What'd you do, Lake?
Yeah, exactly. Dave the whole time was talking about how big my camera was, so I'm thinking it's like that's probably my fault too.
It's a bit beefy.
Yeah,
right?
it's a large
compared to what I use.
It's a large camera. I mean, it's not fun to carry. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it looks like it needs wheels.
I wish it had some.
Need somebody like a caddy to carry it for you.
Right.
Yeah. So that obviously
that washed.
Yeah, because he spooked, and we're still like, what in the world happened? But ended up what were we about to do?
We were dragging our feet back to the truck because we were going to go back to the public land.
Yeah,
spot,
that was it.
And we got to the field that we done kicked the turkey out of one time. We done raced one the evening before, and that's the same field that old Quirky Bird ran across the morning before. Mm-hmm. So, or 2 mornings before at this point. So we just decided we better call before we go walking across it.
Which ended up being a good decision.
It was a very good decision, yeah.
Struck right there. We said, goodness gracious.
Lord mercy, we can probably shoot him if we were still in the truck.
Yeah, because he was not far from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was in shotgun range of the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we ended up, me and Jordan crawling on all fours, if you can picture that. Me and Jordan crawling on all fours to get to that little
corner of tall grass.
Right to the next, it's like an old fence row or something right there.
Yeah.
Hedgerow or
little
something.
road or something connected.
And it honestly didn't take that long. It
didn't. Not nearly as long as I thought it was going to take. When we called to him again and he gobbled and that hen started yelping, I thought, oh, crap.
But then he came out. But then I saw the hen with him, and I still was like,
It was 2 longbirds.
Yeah.
That one that never strutted.
Yeah.
Which we think is
I think's the Quirky Bird.
Yeah, and the one that never strutted had a rope on him. Like I remember because I zoomed the camera in, I was like, gracious, look at the beard on that turkey.
Yeah.
But he was not strutting. It was the other
he
one.
was definitely the subordinate turkey.
Yeah, and the hen, but all of a sudden, like the one that was strutting, just kind of
made his mind up.
Yeah, like just said, the heck with all these other turkeys. I'm going to whatever
is going on in the
that
corner.
hen's telling me over there, which was you yelping at him.
Yep.
And I
come on over here, baby.
Yeah.
Which one thing I remember it, and you know that like moment of suspense, like so, you can't really tell it, you know, in the footage because you know we lost him for a second. He was coming, and he probably was about.
It was a little dip, probably 50 yards in front of us. We couldn't see him.
And we could see him coming, and all of a sudden he got below that dip and he disappeared. And we're like, all right, where in the world is he gonna pop up?
He
at?
had two moves. You know, he could go left and he would pop up like at 10 yards.
Yeah.
And thankfully, he went kind of right straight to us, and I could see him again once he was about 30.
Because all of a sudden, like, I hear Jordan go, lake right there. And just he was just there.
Yeah.
And he's about 30 yards. You could just see his fan.
Tips of his fan.
And I was like, ooh.
Yep, that's a good one.
And here he come, that head tucked back in them feathers. And, oh, my gosh, this might actually work, you know. He come up there doing his thing as pretty as he could be.
Golly. And it's like we wrestled them turkeys, and then for one to just
do that.
I mean, just read the flipping
That's why you do it.
Yeah.
I mean, just read the flipping script, man. I mean, and it ain't like we did something crazy to get him to do what he did.
No.
We basically just found him and soft yelped the fool out of him, and he just ate it.
Yeah. Hook, line, sinker.
That's why you do it. You go, and then it finally works, and then it's like, man,
it was worth it.
And then you forget about all the bad stuff that happened.
Yeah. All you think, whew, can we try to do that again?
Yeah.
That was a good time.
I wonder when we can do that again.
Yeah. Man. So that was fun. That was a fun time.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time.
Remember that turkey had beard rot or something?
Something. Yeah, I still got it in my living room. It's a 4 or 5 inch beard, maybe, but thick.
Yeah.
It's weird looking.
I mean, he was a big.
You could see it when he was strutting. He had that white beard rot tip on
it. It looks like one of your cigars you smoked half in two and stomped off.
So one of the things, despite that hunt being what it is and a great hunt, like there was things that we were, me and Jordan, I remember we were picking up on just like why, because you turkey hunt, even though like we get to turkey hunt a lot, but you turkey hunt more than we do.
I turkey hunt a lot.
You turkey hunt a lot. Yeah. So like one of the things I was trying to like pick up on.
Your style is a different game than what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different.
So one of the things that I noticed, because I was like, because I'm not trying to blow smoke. I'm just being like, so you're fairly successful, is I think would be fair to say.
One of the try real hard.
One of the things that I noticed, like even like so when we were out there on the public, the place that you went door knocking on, whatever. One thing that I noticed is you never let your guard down. So like here's what I mean is when I say that, like that. So the first time we left the public, we went to the place we went door knocking at, and we did some looking around. We get to a spot, and then all of a sudden we go, okay, I think we've made a decision. Let's go back, get to the truck, drive in town, get some lunch. We were in the timber. And remember, to get that spot we were at, we walked through some thick stuff to get right there. There's a lot of guys that when they decide that they're going to leave, go get lunch, come back that afternoon, they just want to hop to the edge of that field, walk through the field back to the truck. You did not do that.
No, I don't. One of the biggest compliments I think anybody can give somebody else to say, you went in and hunted this piece of property, and then I went in there the next day and the turkeys were just gobbling because you didn't booger it up. I like when I go into a place and I leave a place, I like for everything to be in the same state that it was before I got there. I like to try to get in. I try not to be, try not to be loud, obnoxious. I try to, and that's why I think a lot of people, you booger a lot more turkeys than you think you booger. You don't have to see them run for them to be
Treat it like it's your only place you can hunt whole season.
Whole season.
Yeah, which some people people don't even think about that.
The first person I ever learned that from is Bob Walker at Big Creek.
Yeah.
They're they got a bunch of 1,000 acres to hunt there, but each guide gets so many acres. They guide on the whole season.
Oh yeah.
They're running hunters every day on a couple 1,000 acres.
Yeah.
3,000 or 4,000 acres, whatever. Well, Bob's got to make that place where it's a quality hunt every day.
Every day, yeah.
And that's where the first person I ever taught me that.
Yeah.
And it makes a heck of a lot of sense.
You got to go in. I mean, and I'm talking about like I try not to spook deer. I try to take every precaution you can so that when you leave that place, it's like you were never there.
Yeah.
And besides your boot tracks, none of the critters even had a clue. And I do that wherever I go. I'm always trying to make sure you're on your P's and Q's.
And when I say that, I think a lot of folks don't do that, and it's not necessarily a lazy thing, or I think just some people don't think about it.
Because a lot of people, if they're not hearing a turkey gobble, they just assume there's not one there.
They're not there.
Yeah, and I'm one of those guys. Every time I call, I'm like, got my back up against a tree because I'm like, he don't have to gobble for him to come in, So I need to be paying attention. I need to be listening for footfalls. I need to be listening for drumming. Like, I'm not just listening for that turkey to gobble. Because turkeys react a lot different ways. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how many times I've called, hadn't heard anything, but I listen for footfalls between my own footfalls. I'm constantly stopping and I'm listening because, all you got to do is get one little clue before he sees you to make it happen. You know.
Because I remember that before that even happened, we were talking about going to get something to eat, and you're like, well, I did just yelp, so we ought to at least sit here for 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Something like that, and I was like, "That's a good point."
Yeah.
You just made a turkey noise.
What is the quote? It's all in the details. It's all the small things, or whoever it is said that. It really is. You think, oh, that's just that's a small detail. Well, when you group enough of those small details,
they turn into a big.
Yeah, they turn into something. You got to make sure that you try not to forget anything. Just try to execute everything to the best of your ability. And, man, those little bitty small things are going to add up to more dead turkeys,
Yeah.
Quality experiences.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Because, like I said, I had a conversation. I did a podcast episode with Aaron and Greg from the Hunting Public this morning. And I was saying a lot of the guys, my buddy Josh Thrash, those two guys that find ways to consistently kill turkeys on public land, private land, whatever. If they're consistently killing turkeys, one thing that I find that they always put some kind of emphasis on is efficiency.
Yep.
And I'd put that in that category. If you're not, making an effort that to not say I'm not going to spook any turkeys on this place. If it's within my power, I'm not going to spook any turkeys. That maximizes your efficiency.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to act more like turkeys if they're not getting spooked.
You have to constantly be thinking about it too.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it too. When I'm been going all day and hadn't heard or seen nothing, I ain't even seen a track. I'm just all right. I'm getting out of here.
Let's go. Just dragging your feet.
I'm not standing here saying because that's one thing I noticed. I said, man, in that situation, I wouldn't even be trying to be lazy. I probably just would have popped on the edge of that field and just walked back and not thought anything of it.
Yep.
But then I was like, it makes a whole lot of sense to put in the extra effort, take the extra 5 or 10 minutes, and walk through that timber to get back to your truck.
Yep. You have a little something to hide you, and just taking into consideration everything when you approach places like the sun. Sun is something that nobody seems to think about. And when you approach a field, if you can have the sun at your back versus in your face, like that is a huge deal.
That's
a lot of people like, I walked out on the edge of that field and that turkey didn't even see me. I just about bet you if you had you must have had the sun at your back, because you wouldn't believe how much better it is to approach a field with the sun at your back rather than the sun in your face.
That's one thing we think about a lot, filming wise.
Filming
in the sun.
Exactly.
Or even that, the sun's a big factor. Like staying, if you're going to set up somewhere, if you can get in some shadows rather than the sun just blazing on you.
Trust me, you hear me saying that stuff all the time when dealing with that video camera. I'm like, that lens going to glare. I got to get this thing turned so that lens is going to glare. Always nervous, and when because I've had it happen. You've had them things come up, you be camouflaged, and he sees you in the blink of an eye.
Yep.
You're like, I know there was something glaring.
It
was either the fast fire or something had to be glaring.
That's a telltale sign when everything's happening right, and as soon as he gets in the view,
slick. When he slicks them feathers back and folds them wings, you're like, that joker has seen something. You better make it happen. Or
we always talk when you see them when they're doing right, and all of a sudden they tuck them wings.
Boy,
you better make something happen because he's about to be gone.
Yep, you better tuck and roll or flip or turn around, whatever you got to do.
He may run away, or he may just decide not and just start steadily walking away. But either way, he's getting out of there. It means he don't like it. You can yelp if you want. He don't like it. He already made up his mind.
He made it. When that wing pops, it is too late. It is too late. Only thing that can delay a wing pop turkey is another turkey. If there's another turkey there that hadn't seen you, they can kind of feed off him a little bit and give you another minute or something but he's leaving. The other turkey might not, but he's leaving.
I remember one time specifically, I was filming Brad. We were in Mississippi, and there was a turkey, and he was hung up. He was right at about 50 yards. And Brad's 12 gauge had 50 yards all day, but I think Brad was just going to see if he would just keep coming. And the turkey had been there a while, and all of a sudden he come out of strut and wings folded, and Brad goes, "You ready?"
Yep. It's always that's always
kill him. Boom.
Yep. We always see when we see him wings pop, you're like, all right, you got to go. Whether it's going to work or not, you got to go.
Got to try to make it happen.
Yeah. So one thing, like, I remember I think we actually talked about this while we were hunting. When you're trying to strike a turkey, most of the time, you hear people talking about crow calls or coyotes call, whatever. You were yelping more than
anything. Yeah. I use a turkey call, man. I don't carry a crow call. I have had very little success with a crow call. I do it with my voice if I just have a super hot turkey and I'm trying to keep up with him.
Right.
Do it out west, a lot on those turkeys that gobble a lot.
Yeah.
I owl in the mornings pretty consistently.
Yeah, that's
because
standard,
I try to get, and everybody's like, well, I'll just let the woods wake up, and I do that a lot. But if I'm in a situation where I think I'm like, dealing with open field or something, if I get that joker to gobble like 2 minutes earlier, you wouldn't believe how much darker it is when that sun starts coming up. Those 2 minutes can be huge. If I can just provoke him to gobble, so I'll use stuff like that. But usually when I'm moving and calling, every time I call, I've got a setup already envisioned. Like I already say, okay, I've already got a place that I think the turkey might gobble, and I've already got a place set up to where I can kill him, or where I need to move to get to where I can kill him. So. I've not had a lot of success with like just the locator type stuff, the crow calls and stuff. So I'm always, which I approach it like I don't run around with a tube call blowing reeds out of it to strike turkeys. When I start on a turkey, when I get in a location where I want to try to strike, I try to visualize that turkey at 50 yards first. I'm like, turkey might be right there. So let's start with bubble clucks. Let's start with something low. See if we can provoke. If I can get that turkey when I stop, I don't even know he's there, and I bubble cluck or something a couple times, and he hits it before you even have to like really give him anything. I'm like, that one's ready.
He's gonna do it.
That one
probably
is ready.
Hit the deck.
But then you get one where you bubble cluck and then you yelp a time or two and he gobbles. Okay, he's still in good mood. Then you get that one, you yelp a time or two and he doesn't gobble. Then you have to, and if he hits the first one, he might be okay. But I've learned that if they don't hit that first little, excited sound,
right,
then they probably are sitting there they're either strutting with hens already, they're already content. Exactly. So a lot of times, if it takes that much to get them to gobble, and like I said this many moons ago, like I can stand on this rock ledge right here and cut over this valley, and I can blow the reeds out of this thing, and I could probably get a turkey to gobble. But there's a difference in getting a turkey to gobble.
What good's that gonna do?
And getting one to gobble that you're gonna kill. And if I can't kill him, I'd rather not even know he's there, because then I'm gonna end up chasing him. And I'm end up devoting the whole morning to a turkey that don't need to be hunted.
Been there, done that. I think we all have.
So we were talking about efficiency with Warb and Greg, and Aaron was telling us about like when he said something about when he gets on a piece of public, sometimes he'll take some mornings, like the prime limb gobbling time, and he'll just go through and start marking birds. He won't even, if he hears them, he'll leave and just go to the next one. That way he knows where a bunch of them are. And I was like, the thought of me hearing a turkey gobble and not trying to go get him.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I get what you're saying. I'm not saying I don't see the positive side of it. I just don't know if I could. He said it worked. It helps him because then he knows where a bunch are. But I'm just like,
I could do that around home, but if I'm on the road, it all depends on how many. What you got going on, I guess.
Yeah.
Usually they travel with a crew, so there's a few of them. They're not looking to kill a turkey. They're looking to, they've got several guys there to get on turkeys, so that's a little bit different.
Makes sense.
But like in Alabama, Georgia, at home, I can't say that, if it's preseason, that's exactly what I do.
Because then you can't go after them anyway.
When it comes time to hunt, like you can hear that bird, and especially if you get, relatively close to him, you can tell by his intensity of his gobble, or how often he's gobbling, or where he's located, like his location, where he's roosted at, whether that turkey needs to be hunted or not, And if you're hunting at home, you have the luxury of going, okay, that turkey's here, we need to try him again in 4 days because he's close. I can tell where he's roosted, and I can tell his attitude, and I can tell intensity in his gobble. If we come in 4 or 5 days, I bet he'll be ready, but let's go check, so we drop pins that way.
Yeah.
I can't say if it's turkey season and I hear one gobble, I ain't going to at least get close enough to gauge it and see if he needs to die that day.
Check his temperature.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, man, that's I just don't know if I could do it.
I love doing it, man. Nothing makes me feel better than early season, being able to ride those roads and drop them pins and already kind of having an idea where some are.
Yeah.
But, if I got a gun in my hand, I'm at least going to get close enough to say, nope, he needs another week. Nope, he needs 2 weeks. But I'm going to get close enough to
just to gauge it.
Gauge it, yeah.
Yeah.
The stuff around your house that you hunt, how consistent are turkeys in the same spot every year?
And where is it exactly? Exact pins, GPS.
You got traditional roosts. You got places that you can always, for some reason they pick this ravine or they like this little hollow.
It's a lot of terrain.
A lot of steep stuff and a lot of varying elevations and stuff. And I don't hunt locally where I have to deal with they're roosted at 1,500 feet. Oh, they're up to 3,000 feet. Oh, they're roosting at 35. I don't hunt that around home. That's you're not using those type of elevation, I guess, is where to find turkeys. It's more to do with drainages and water and what food sources available. I'm assuming is what gauges that. Whether they're using field edges at that point in the season or if they've already moved up at the heavy mass crop, they'll be in the hardwoods. And I already know traditional places where they'll probably find them. But they'll bounce between fingers. They'll be on one and they'll be on another one.
Back at home, it seems to vary from year to year. There'll be turkeys in the same, in a 1,000-acre block, but they may be a quarter mile this way from where they were last year and stay there.
Yeah. The thing that I always tried to do is there's always that one turkey in preseason before everybody gets in there and butchers it all up. And I'll get in there and I'll listen and I'll start 3 weeks before season or a month before season, and I'll, if I hear turkeys, I start dropping pins. Well, then that week before the season, I'll be like, I'm gonna kind of target this area right here where I heard these turkeys, and I'll go in there, and if I can go in there 2 days in a row and a turkey's in the same spot, I'm like, that turkey right there is doing the same thing. And then that's the turkey I hone in on. I might be hearing other ones, and he may not be the one gobbling the most, but he's using the same tree. So if I go in there in 2 or 3 days and I hear one turkey gobbling in the same spot, and I'm like, that's the turkey I can kill opening day, because I know exactly where he's going to be. I can go in there and roost him, and like I said, when I define roosting, I'm like, he's gobbled there 2 mornings in a row. I go in there the evening before, and I get within eyesight of where that joker's flying up, where I think he's flying up. Then I can watch him fly up. Because our turkeys don't gobble a lot in the evenings. We can't depend on a roost gobbling.
Heard 2 turkeys in my life gobble in Mississippi.
Exactly. It happens, but it's rare.
It's rare, exactly. So I don't ever depend on them gobbling, but they'll gobble in the roost on the morning. So I've heard him 2 mornings in a row, or 2 out of 3 mornings he's gobbled from this exact ridge, and I will be there in the evening. I'll watch that joker fly up, and then I know,
Yeah. So that takes the guesswork out of it.
Exactly, and then he don't have to gobble if you can watch him fly up,
True
so
that.
Honing in on that consistent turkey is
that consistent turkey. That's what I'm looking for. That there's going to be others that's going to bounce around.
Yeah.
And they're fun to hunt. I'll be back to hunt them. But opening day, where I hunt in a public ground, he's got to be dead quick.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Same with us.
And so I got to have that turkey dead before he gets boogered. So I'm looking for that turkey that's using the consistent spot. And usually it's the same tree. I found them, they use the same doggone tree. And that's the one I hone in to hunt opening day. See, and now the way I do things, I'm not available as much to scout to that intense degree anymore. Now I'm in Florida up until the day that we open, so I'm just kind of having to wing it. But that used to be what I
did. See what I'm saying? That's efficiency. All them guys, it's a level of efficiency adds to more success, which makes sense.
That's the same with us, trying to hunt around home. We're gone, and then we'll get a day back home, and all right, let's go. Where we going? I don't know.
You kind of got to piece it together and go well, historically this has been a good area. So that's just kind of what you have to do. It's just guesswork.
Yep.
Which is, it works.
That's
sometimes,
fun. I love going to a brand new place, ain't got a clue, and you just basically go hunting with your ears, man. I like hunting with my ears.
Spend a couple of days and finally figure out what he's doing, then you got to leave.
Got to leave again. Yeah,
that happened to me. Rough. That happened to me right before we had to leave for Kansas, right before Brindley. Me and you got on that turkey.
Yeah.
The one but that wasn't on public. That was on a place that I had permission to hunt.
Yeah.
But
should have died.
It up.
Did I mess it up? No, I didn't mess it up.
Property line messed
Look,
it up.
I kid you not. He was roosted. I knew the tree. I had this turkey roosted, and I kid so the tree that this turkey roosted in. If I'm standing at the trunk of that tree, facing it, like I'm looking at it, if I take one step to the left, I'm across the line. And he was on that, on that every time. And
his head was on us, and his tail was on
them.
when
he was gobbling in the morning, when he stretched his neck out to gobble, he'd be on their property. It was one of those. And the last morning that I had to hunt him, I hadn't heard near one hen with him yet, but I sat down, I got on the same ridge with him. I thought I was in the chips, and then I hear him gobble, and then 50 yards on the other property, I hear hen tree yelping. I was like, that's not the best. It's not the best at all. I heard him drum right past me.
Yep.
I couldn't do anything.
Why is this? It seems like no matter where we go, we find a turkey that's on the freaking property line.
Yep.
Does that happen to you too?
The thing is usually property line means transition lines.
Exactly.
Somebody's timbered, somebody hasn't. Somebody's planted pine, somebody hasn't. Somebody's cut a fire break. And, all it takes is that little bit of transition change, and all wildlife target on it.
You would be correct. And that, the tree this turkey was roosted in, it was a big old white oak tree, and it looked like one of those trees like you go into a Bass Pro or Cabela's and they have a giant tree with a bunch of turkeys mounted roosted on it. It looked like one of those. Yeah. Like it was the most cliche turkey roost tree ever.
That tree being on that property line has never been cut,
Yeah.
It's the biggest tree on the property.
And I promise you, there'll be a turkey in it again this spring.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get permission on that property that he can.
But it seems like no matter where we go, them suckers, you can go to the line, you can find some turkeys.
Yeah. It always ends up, man, it works out like that way a lot.
Man, we were on a ranch last year in Texas. It's like one of them big old, Texas, the big properties out there. It's like thousands of acres. Like one of the biggest ranches in Texas that's not cut through a county road.
Yeah.
Where the turkey's at, 100 yards across the line. Sit there and listen to them for 3 hours.
That's a fact. Right?
That hurts.
Yep. Have all these acres behind us, don't hear the first turkey.
Yep.
That's
we
about
can
right.
walk for 10 miles behind us.
Yeah.
Ain't heard a turkey, though.
That hurts, man. That hurts. Mm-hmm. And then you're sitting on the line and, trying to figure out what part of the line that the turkeys use to cross and what habitat you got on your side of the line that the turkeys are using, and be there, because that's – if you're going to call them across, if they're over there and that's where they want to be, if you're going to call them across, you're going to call them across to somewhere that they're familiar being. You know what I'm saying? So you're trying to find that spot that they're going to have expect to hear another turkey. So.
Well, one more thing I want to touch on before we wrap this thing up. So, you're doing the whole video series, Pinhoti again this spring again, is correct?
Yep, that's it.
So at this point of the year, do you have kind of all right, where you're going to go generally? Do you have it nailed down, or are you just kind of
It's from year to year, and this year I've had so much going on with all this stuff. I haven't been able to nail it down. I didn't get a lot of some of the states you got to draw and get sent in and stuff, and I was kind of behind the ball on that, so I missed out on some of the places that I was like, man, I need to go there, and I look and I'm 2 weeks late on the application process and all that stuff. So nothing really hammered, nothing in concrete. There's a couple places, there's some destinations that are already for sure going to happen. Yeah. But as far as getting from there to, from point A to point B, I usually do a lot of little side detouring, so I don't have anything super nailed down. Obviously, we start in Florida, hunt Georgia and Alabama, going to try to get over to Mississippi.
Stay away. Stay out of my state.
all depending on my flexibility.
Yeah. You're more flexible than we are.
So,
But
no, but y'all told me y'all got about, I don't know what y'all say, 39, 40 states y'all going to hit this year?
We're going to try to hit all 50.
Yeah.
Even Alaska.
Even Alaska.
We're doing Quebec too.
We're going to swing down to New Zealand. We're just going to, everywhere that's got turkeys, we're going.
We're going.
Yeah, in a 3-week time period.
Yep, got it. Just be busy.
Yeah. I don't. It's different. Like I said, it's funny because both we'll be busy, y'all be busy, you'll be busy, but it's the way our schedules works completely different.
Yeah.
But it works. It works. Tell if I'm sure a lot of them that listen to this podcast know already, but in case they don't, tell everybody where they can find you on Instagram and YouTube and all that stuff.
We're on Instagram, Pinhoti Project, Pinho, Pinhoti is what it looks like.
Pinhoti.
But it's pronounced Pinhoti.
Not to be confused with my Pinocchio project.
Not your Pinocchio project, no.
Jordan's
Very
Pinocchio
different.
project is widely famous between his 39 Snapchat friends.
Okay.
And then
World renowned then, huh?
Yeah.
World renowned.
It's growing. I got my analytics in the other day, and it's taking off.
yeah.
Man, I tell you what. You're gonna be sponsoring ads before too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got the YouTube channel, which is where it all began, and got a website, and Instagram, Facebook, of course, and we're on Mossy Oak Go now.
That's right. Yeah, the Mossy Oak Go app. Right.
Yep, going to Mossy Oak Go app. So we got everything kind of rolling in the right direction, man. Let's hope that it continues to do so.
That's what it's all about, avenues so people can see.
Yeah, I just want to make it available for folks, you know.
Well,
Cool,
I love what you're doing. Just kind of
just raw, man.
Just
it's everything we got's raw.
what everybody goes through.
Yep,
Well,
everything. I'm
struggles.
trying to make it relatable.
Yeah.
Most of it's raw, but that last video, that turkey footage,
Oh God.
that was some of the best I've ever seen.
Please
I
give
don't
him
know
a pat
who
on the
videoed
back.
that.
Y'all saw the best turkey footage that you have ever seen in the Pinhoti Project in the last video. Y'all should go check it out. We've got the one and only Jordan Blissett and Lake Pickle featured from Primos Hunting.
See, we got him recorded saying it now. Mama, I made it. Lordy. All right.
It's
All
been
right.
fun. We
Yeah.
better get back to work.
We can wrap this thing up. All the three of us got booths to get back to. So, guys, hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you have any questions, don't neglect to send them in. Any of our Jordan's Instagram, my Instagram, the Primo's Instagram, doesn't matter. Look up Dave on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, all that stuff. Thank you for listening to the Speak the Language podcast.